Thank you, all of you that took to the OTR Central Facebook page and posted your questions for this Facebook Friday Q&A. I'll try and get through as many of them as I possibly can. So let's get started. DeMarcus Flowers, what are your thoughts on the rumor WWE is potentially calling an audible with the Royal Rumble winner? I could see why they would want to do that. And I'm not saying at this point that they're totally wrong for doing that. Just like I talked about, the WWE has a major problem in a previous video with the WrestleMania 31 main event. I think they have a big problem when it comes to the 2015 Royal Rumble and who they can have win it and why. And I'll be talking about that in a video coming up very, very soon on this channel. Matthew Alicia, how awesome would it be if the 2015 Royal Rumble saw Stardust get thrown out and later on we see the return of none other than Cody Rhodes? Yeah, I guess. I mean, if it gave me Cody versus Goldust at WrestleMania, then I'll live with that. Paul Tymus, who's the Peyton Manning of the NBA? Any era. Before he started winning titles with the Heat, you could have definitely argued LeBron would fit into that category. That truly great player that comes up short consistently in those big-time spots and tends to disappear at times in those big-time spots. I think you could have said that about LeBron. Some people might still say that about LeBron, but I don't know if that's quite as true now. 5-6 years ago, yes, all day. The comparison was perfect. See here, Dylan Haggett. Have you listened to much of Chris Jericho's podcast? The one with him and Chris Nowinski is an episode I recommend. No, not particularly. I don't really listen to any wrestlers' podcast. Occasionally, I might listen to a clip here or there that somebody else puts out there, but I don't listen to any of the wrestlers' podcasts. Frankly, I feel like I have better things to do with my time, just being honest. Ellis Watson, do you think the WWE could break the attendance record of 100+ thousand at AT&T Stadium with the WrestleMania? And if so, what do you think WWE will need to do in order to achieve this? I think they can. I think they will. There's always a part of me that would like that honor to always stay with WrestleMania 3, but then again, all good things must come to an end. What I wouldn't want to see is to see an all-time indoor attendance record in the United States be broken with a half-assed WrestleMania and a crappy show that didn't feel worthy of such an honor. I think they can do it. In part, it would just be, putting WrestleMania there and selling tickets, and that would get it done. Especially if you maybe announce that you're trying to set a new indoor American attendance record. That would be a part of the appeal for people as well. A match that would have gotten it done for sure, no question about it, would have been Taker versus Cena, or even Austin versus Punk. If you had one of those two matches, you could just sit there and sit back and watch the 110+ thousand people come to your event. It still could happen. Maybe that's when you would get like Triple H versus The Rock. That would be a match to help ensure it. But the two safest bets in terms of matches would have been Austin Punk and or Taker Cena. I mean, if you did both on the card, holy shit. Let's see here. Bogdan Sarbu, what's the worst Royal Rumble moment of all time? Go back to the first one, 1988. Dino Bravo's dumb crap trying to break the bench press record. Oh, God. Just bad. Mike Spence Jr., do you think Bray Wyatt should have his music playing in the background during his promos? Because I feel it gives him more of a preacher feeling, and isn't that what Wyatt's character is somewhat about? You could maybe do that. I mean, would it be the worst thing in the world to maybe try it at a couple of house shows and see how it gets over, how it works, how it feels? No. I mean, at this point, I'm a fan of trying just about anything that would seem to make some sense. And what you're saying at least makes a little bit of sense. Holy Christian, how would you have Curtis Axel return to the main roster? Was it smart of him to go back to NXT? I don't know if it was smart of him like it was his choice or not. He wasn't getting utilized, so why not go where he could at least be utilized? I don't know how I would bring him back to the main roster. He needs some type of shtick. He needs some type of gimmick. First thing I would do is actually make an exception with him. Since he is third generation, I'd actually have him use the fucking Hennig name. I mean, how stupid is that if a guy is second or third generation and he doesn't use the name that his family used to get over in the business before? It just makes no sense. That's the Johnny Ace Vince philosophy that was just so stupid in my mind. Jesse McRae, if WWE does go through with Roman Reigns' push, how long do you think it will take for fans to give him the Cena treatment? probably quicker than they did with Cena, in part because they will look at guys like Ambrose and Rollins and Wyatt and Ziggler and even Cesaro, and they'll be like, well, why aren't these guys getting that spot? And people will grow to resent Reigns very quickly, especially because they will see him as that manifestation of John Cena 2.0, and they already know where 1.0 version went, and they don't want to see 2.0 version of him. So that could happen very quickly. Let's see here. Benedict Infinity Ward. What did you and Summer get for Christmas? Summer got a lot of treats and toys from Santa Claus, as did Panda and Snow Cone. What did I get? A bunch of sports memorabilia. So that's about exactly what I freaking wanted. So not too bad. I got the gift of working both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Yay! But 3-day weekend afterwards. Yes! I'll take that. Aaron Zach, which divas and knockouts do you think take it up the ass? Probably all. Probably all of them. Sean Anderson, if Taker's at Mania, God help him. Is it best for him to face someone in their prime and fast-paced like Wyatt or Rollins, or someone around Taker's age so he can actually keep up with someone? That's an interesting point. You know, would you want somebody that could physically do a lot of things to mask maybe some of Taker's deficiencies that have come with age? Would you want somebody that would be able to work a similar pace because out of necessity? You know, somebody like a Sting. You know, me personally, I don't want to see Taker ever wrestle again, frankly, anymore. I did a video about that, talking about I would just want Taker to retire. But if he does come back for another WrestleMania match, and you weren't going to do a storyline thing in terms of him trying to get revenge on Brock Lesnar, which would make sense. The match I want to see most out of all, if I'm going to take her again at a Mania, at least give me the dream match. Give me Sting. You finally have both under contract at the same time. That's the match that needs to happen. Period. Taker versus Bray Wyatt is stupid. I don't even know if I want to see Taker versus Brock Lesnar after the last WrestleMania match. But at least, again, I could argue that that would make some significant storyline sense, especially if you're going with the retirement angle with Taker. But Sting versus Taker, that's the match. If I've got to see Taker again at a Mania, give me the dream match. Because then I could just be a teenager again. Let's see here. Henrique Marto, if Triple H is God, who is Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus? Baby Jesus would be Shawn Michaels, even though he's older? Who would be Mary and Joseph? I guess Triple H's parents would be Mary and Joseph, wouldn't they? And baby Jesus would be Shawn Michaels. But if you're going to sit there and say on the flip side, yeah, that's now you're stumping me here a little bit. Who would be Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus? Well, I guess in theory, you could say Mary would have to be Stephanie McMahon because maybe God would inseminate her with his holy seed. However, implying that Mary gave birth to a baby Jesus has been well established that God can't make a son. It would be more of a baby genie than a baby Jesus. So, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question for sure. Michael Vickan, your thoughts on the super retarded name of pay-per-view Fastlane? You pretty much summed it up for me right there. Luke Masson, out of today's roster, who could lead the WWE into another boom period if there were to be one? Just in any particular order, I'm looking at guys that are probably 30 or under, or maybe 32, 33 and under, because I want guys that could be there for several years. You know, guys like Ambrose, Reigns, Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Bray Wyatt, Big E Langston, believe it or not, Big E, the Usos, younger guys. That's who I'd want to build my next boom period around because I want them to be there for that entire boom period and then some. I want them to be around for 5, 8, 10 years, not just 2 or 3. Let's see here. Worst pay-per-views of the PG era is a question from Konstantinos Papakostas. I got your Greek name right, I hope. One that always stands out is WrestleMania 27. God, that was a bad WrestleMania. It was just a bad pay-per-view. There have been other ones. The Survivor Series 2013 was really shitty. There's 1 or 2 in 2012 and 2013 were really, really bad. Like I said, WrestleMania 27 really stands out. I don't think 26 was a whole lot better. 25 was a big disappointment, but it didn't quite match up to those other ones in terms of pure shit factor. Let's see here. Oldie Christian, where would you rank Edge on the list of greatest Royal Rumble winners? Probably middle of the pack. Let's see here. Roland Noir. In the conversation where we wrestling fans discuss which divas we bang, why does Emma get left out? Yeah, Paige's milky skin is nice, but who wouldn't want some of that Aussie ass? I guess if you're into the no pigment, then that's your thing. You know, obviously that's not my thing, Roland, brother. Why does Emma get left out? I don't think she's particularly much to look at in the facial region, and let's face it, that she really doesn't have much of a body. It's kind of like every time I go into a Hooters, I want to start to get that feeling like I want to sue the company for false advertisement because there's not a Hooter to be found. It's stiff as a board, light as a feather. Every time I go in there, everything is flat. And when I look at Emma, I see a lot of flat, not fat in the right areas. If you get my drift and what I'm saying. Irvin Griffin Jr., if the rumors are true about Roman Reigns and his push being scaled back, who would you like to see go against Brock Lesnar for the title? Ryback, if you were going to do Lesnar having the belt. Problem is, if you scale back on Reigns' push and you don't have him win the Rumble, then I think that means you have to have Cena win the belt at the Rumble, and do you really, really want that? I mean, so let's see here. Jamie Durward, excuse me. Would you love a WWE Tag Team title match as a fantasy WrestleMania match between Dino Bravo and Jeff Jarrett as the champions defending against Steiner and Sid? Half of that I would love. Unfortunately, it's not the half that involves Dino Bravo and Jeff Jarrett as the champions. You see that? That's why I think of that. You see that? That's what you get. Ridiculous. If Xenia Berry, if Sid and Vince have a match with the stipulation of who gets injured first wins, who should be the special referee? Sin Cara. Oh, baby. Because every time he'd go to run to count a pinfall, he'd pop his patella. Donnie Scorp 18, do you think they booked Brock Lesnar too strongly so that nobody could beat him? No, I just think they booked Brock Lesnar in a fucking idiotic way. You have him end the streak, he dismantles Cena, and then he's gone for extended periods of time with the title. It's one thing to be a special attraction as a champion. It's another thing to be no attraction as a champion at all. Furthermore, their bigger mistake is after having him go over Taker at Mania, which should make him the top heel, they decide to reinforce that and follow that up by having him dismantle the guy that so many people hate in Cena, therefore making him the top babyface, and then you take away the top babyface after Night of Champions for 3 months. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't seem to make much sense, does it? It's just, oh, Christ. Larrikin Harris, how was your Christmas and did you fill your girlfriend's stocking? She got filled plenty, I promise you. And my Christmas was good. Like I said, other than the fact I had to work both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I do have a 3-day weekend. So I can't complain too badly about that. And then even working on Christmas Day, getting paid double time and a half, ain't nothing to sneeze at. You know, brother's got to make some money here. Ronnie Cruz, when Goldberg made his debut against The Rock, why did WWE make Rock out to look like a bitch in that feud? It just didn't make any sense to me. Maybe it's in part because they were really trying to get Goldberg over as a monster. Goldberg and Rock were friends. Rock was okay with doing it. Rock was getting ready to leave to go do another movie. That's probably kind of what factored in the decision. Rodney Tussinger, who is more ready for a WWE World Heavyweight Championship run, Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins? If I give you my honest answer at this point, it might disappoint you. Neither one. Out of the Shield, I think Ambrose is by far the most polished and the most main spot ready. I don't know that Rollins is, and I don't believe that Reigns is either. I don't know if either one of them are. In part, maybe it's because with Rollins, you know, he talks a lot, but I don't know if he does a good job on the mic. And then when I look at his character and the way he's been booked, I'm kind of like, is that really the guy you want as the top guy? You know, so, and Reigns has his own flaws that we've talked about ad nauseum before. All right, I tell you what, since you guys sent so many questions in, this was part 1. I'll do a part 2 for this Facebook Friday Q&A. That way I encourage you guys to continue submitting your questions in the future. So thanks for you guys that sent in your questions for this part 1 of the Q&A. Part 2 will be coming up soon.